Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Box Office Talk. This is the show where I break down what happened at the box office, see if my predictions for the top 5 are correct, and then make predictions for next week's top 5. So let's get right on into it. Last week I predicted that number 1 would be The Accountant, number 2 would be The Girl on the Train, number 3 would be Kevin Hart, What Now, number 4 would be Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, and number 5 would be Max Steel. And I actually got 2 out of 5 of my predictions right, so at least it wasn't a complete zero, but if you compare it to last week where I did not too bad, I would have preferred if I just got like a 3 or something, but that's fine. Well, let's go over what actually happened. Number 1 was The Accountant, making $24 million this weekend, and this is only on a budget of $44 million, so it just needs $20 million more to get there, so I don't think the negative reception this movie is pretty much getting on Rotten Tomatoes, I don't think that'll really affect how this movie performs at the box office, since it already outperformed Box Office Mojo's like weekend estimation that they posted Thursday night. Originally they said it was going to make only like 15 million, but it got over 24, so that's pretty good. I hope The Accountant makes even more money. I hope more people go out to see it because I think it's extremely underrated. I honestly don't know why people are saying that it's like this bad movie because I honestly don't get it. Anyways, number 2 was Kevin Hart, What Now? This actually surprised me. I didn't expect it to get to the number 2 spot, but still Kevin Hart is a very popular comedian. But also this movie and number 3 are actually very close together, so tomorrow when the official numbers come out, these might be switched. But first, this movie made $11,984,000 this weekend, and since this is only on a budget of $9.9 million, that is very good for this movie. I guess that's really good for Kevin Hart. He's got a movie like every 6 months or something like that. At least it feels that way. He's extremely popular if you haven't noticed. But anyways, the number 3 film that I mentioned is very close is The Girl on the Train. And I mentioned this weekend it made $11,974,000. So it's literally $10,000 away from What Now. So when the actual numbers come in tomorrow, these two might be switched. But usually the weekend estimations are usually very correct, which is why I do this show on Sundays. So maybe it will be the actual number 3, maybe it'll make a little bit less, or maybe it will be the number 2. We will just have to find out tomorrow, but I'm not going to cover it in this video. But it has a total of now $46 million, and it just surpassed its $45 million budget. That's very good for this movie. But anyways, number 4 was Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. This weekend it made $8 million, and that adds to a total of $65 million. So it's $45 million away from reaching its $110 million budget domestically, but if you want to check the worldwide chart, it is almost at $200 million. It's at $196 million worldwide, which is very, very impressive for this movie. It's not doing too well domestically, but around the world, it seems to be doing a very, very good job. So maybe we will get a sequel to this. I would actually be kind of interested to see what they do with the sequel. Even though I wasn't a big fan of this movie, I gave it a C+ on my review, I'm still interested to see where else they can go with this world. Number 5 was Deepwater Horizon, only making $6 million this weekend, and that adds to a domestic total of $49 million. Now, if you look at that amount, you're probably really concerned about its $110 million budget domestically, but when you do look at the worldwide numbers, you will realize that it is a little bit closer, but it's still not doing fantastic like I think a lot of people want it to. It's stuck at the 77 million mark at the worldwide chart, and it's 33 million away from getting its production budget back, but even when it does do that, it still has like a lot more money to make in order to be considered a big success. Even though getting its budget back, that's still good. I can only imagine that it'd have to double its budget in order to be considered a big success, which is a little disappointing, and I imagine a lot of people are probably disappointed by it because a lot of people are saying that this is an amazing film and everyone should go see it. I still really do want to see this movie at some point, I just haven't had the chance yet. I'm so sorry, Mark Wahlberg, I'll make it up to you somehow. Anyways, number 6 was Storks, another movie that seems like it should be making more since it's animated, but it's just doing fine. It made $5,600,000 this weekend, and that adds to a total of of $59 million domestically, so it's $11 million away from getting its production budget of $70 million back. But you do look at that worldwide chart and see that it's almost doubled its budget there because it's at the $130 million margin worldwide. So it just needs $10 million more dollars on the worldwide chart in order to double it, but still, I can imagine that they'd want to make more money on the worldwide chart and the domestic chart, so it obviously is a little disappointing. Anyways, number 7, The Magnificent Seven. This weekend it made $5,200,000, so this movie and Storks could also switch up, but they're not as close as Kevin Hart and The Girl on the Train. But anyways, that adds to a total of $84 million, and it's $6 million away from getting its production budget of $90 million back. However, on the worldwide chart, it's already gotten it, made $148 million. Although this isn't as close to doubling its budget on the worldwide chart, it at least has gotten its budget back there, even though I can only imagine that Sony would probably want this movie to make a lot more money. I mean, poor Sony, they need something. They need something, man, and I guess they've gotten some general good praise for The Magnificent Seven, so I guess they got that at least. Anyways, number 8 was Middle School, The Worst Years of My Life. This weekend it made $4 million, and that adds to a total of $13 million, and its budget is $8.5 million once again, so it's like double standard is $17 million, so it's $4 million away from doubling its budget, which is already good for this very cheap movie, I guess, because it is cheap. It's $8.5 million budget. Like, if that doesn't scream cheap to you, then I don't know what does. But anyways, I guess that's good for this movie. I've heard okay things about. I don't have much to say other than let's move on. Number 9 was Sully. This weekend it made $2,960,000, and that adds to a total of $118 million. So domestically, it's only $2 million away from doubling its $60 million budget, but worldwide, you'll notice that it's nearly tripled its production budget because it's stuck at $175 million worldwide. So it only needs $5 million on the worldwide front in order to triple its budget, which is very good for Clint Eastwood and everyone involved with the movie. I've talked about this movie to death, and it's about to leave next weekend, obviously, because we have like 4 movies coming out, so it'll probably push Sully out. So I just wanted to say, congrats, Sully, once again on your big success at the box office. And finally, number 10 is The Birth of a Nation, making $2,715,000, adding to a total of $12 million. Now, the production budget listed on Box Office Mojo says $8.5 million. However, I checked Wikipedia, and it still says $10 million there. Either way you look at it, it just got its budget back, getting $12 million domestically, but I'm not sure which budget is the most accurate, but still, it was able to get its budget back at least. Either way you look at it, so that's still good, even though they still have marketing to go by. And finally, number 11, the movie I predicted to be number 5, Max Steel. This weekend it made $2,163,000, and I have no idea what this movie's budget is. It's not on Box Office Mojo, and it's not on Wikipedia, but I can only imagine that this movie definitely costs something, because it's kind of this big action special effects movie, so I can't imagine it being a cheap thing, so clearly this must be some kind of bomb for it, opening with $2 million and not even in the top 10. Obviously, that's got to be disappointing to the studio, but I didn't really have an interest in seeing this movie, and that's what they get for putting out a trailer like 2 months prior to this movie being released, and also doing a poor job promoting your film on television. Anyways, it's time for the fun part, which is the predictions for next week's top 5. I'm going to predict that number 1 will be Jack Reacher, Never Go Back. I'm going to say number 2 will be Ouija, Origin of Evil. Number 3 will be Keeping Up with the Joneses. Number 4 will be The Accountant, and number 5 will be Boo, a Medea Halloween, or Tyler Perry dresses up in drag another time. But anyways, what are your predictions for next week's top 5? Leave them in the comments below. And if you got your predictions right for this week, you're going to get a shout out right now. Unless you didn't get it right then, I'm so sorry. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.